Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and excited on this Monday. Victory Mondays are always the best schlegs. Ohio State with a nice big victory over Penn State. And with that, I'd like to welcome in the Ohio State Athletic Director, Mr. Ross Bjork. It's celebrating a nice big win on Saturday. And Ross, just kind of curious, throughout the season, there's been so many of these coaching firings. Now it's like every Sunday night, it seems like another one's coming down. You spend a lot of times in the SEC where this obviously is occurring, but what is kind of your process throughout the season of how you kind of interact with Ryan? You've got a lot going on. He's got a lot going on in more of a micro sense with the team. How do you guys communicate through that? Is it regular? Is it routine? And kind of what do you get into?
I think it's a great question, and you're right. I mean, it's a crazy landscape going on right now, and the patience is really just not there. I mean, to be able to kind of build a program, right? It used to be, hey, you got to give this coach 4 years to get their recruiting class in, and cycle out maybe a different offensive scheme than what they brought in, and so there's just a lot of moving parts right now in this environment. And so what I like to do is, to me, there's the formal communication and there's the informal. And I think a lot of times the informal stuff is just as important. So during the season, what I like to do is, if you kind of take, sometimes I'll go up there on Sunday and I'll stop by the practice, and it's just a couple fist bumps. It's just being visible. It's checking in on maybe somebody got hurt the day before, so you're kind of checking in on that. And then Monday's a day off for the program, and so the coaches are grinding on the game plan, and so I'm staying away unless there's something that comes up. Tuesday is the press conference day. I like to be there. I like to be visible, be supportive. I may pop into coach's office a few minutes before, a few minutes after. There might be some message points that something came up, and he and I need to be on the same page. And then that gives me a chance to interact with the media, because we have to keep those relationships as well. And then I like to at least go out to practice at least one day during the week. Sometimes I can do it on Tuesday. Sometimes it may not happen till Thursday, but I like to at least, and some of that's superstition, just for me to be able to go out there and, spend time on the practice field. But there's always a guest. There's always somebody that's going to be out there that maybe I need. Maybe it's a donor. Maybe it's a former player. I know, Bobby, I saw you out there last week, and I'd met C. Grant before, and I was like, wow, this guy's a legend. First time meeting him, right? So that was cool. And then Coach Day and I, we have a standing meeting on Friday mornings that we make sure that's where he and I can hit some high level things. We can talk about things happening in the program. We can talk about national things, but that's a standing meeting on Friday. And then, of course, on game day, there's going to be all kinds of varying interaction, before the game, after the game. So that's what I like to do throughout the football season.
Well, I'm going to ask you this, because this is one thing I struggle with in this state, like everybody getting fired in the portal. And it is, you can contact anybody. In the NFL, like, you can't contact current coaches while they're in the midst of the season, which the ultimate goal is to roster management and get through your season and win a championship. And so now you have these firings, you have people discussing while in the midst of trying to make a run. How do you see this playing out in the future, Ross? Like, do you feel that we're going to start to go toward the NFL model, or do you think that college football is just such a unique case in and of itself that this is what we got?
Yeah, Anthony, you open up a great question, and we probably don't have enough time. We could probably do 700 podcasts talking about this, right? Because there's so many moving parts, and I think it really just speaks to the big picture of where we are right now in all of college athletics, but in particular college football, because that receives the bulk of the attention, and that's the financial vehicle for all of us. Is we really need clarity. We need clarity on what is the model. What are the true ground rules? How do we enforce those ground rules? How do we have the right kind of structure around player movement? We will never get back the era where we could restrict player movement. Players had to sit out a year in order to get their academics straight, right? And we used to be able to have a list of schools to say, okay, Anthony, we know you want to transfer from Ohio State, but you cannot go to these 15 schools. We had the ability to do that in the past. So that era is gone, and rightfully so, right? But how do we make sure that there are parameters on the tampering piece? because we know contact is happening. We know we have agents in the environment now where you don't have to contact the player or even the parents because they have an agent, and the agent might be proactively shopping, their client to other programs. And so to me, the clarity piece. So how can we have agreements with athletes that define, they're not employees, but how do we define that player contact, that player movement? How do we define the revenue share? And again, we're just talking football, the revenue share payments that the institution is paying, and that could be tied to player movement. So I do think we have some pieces of structure right now where we have a memo of understanding between an athlete and the institution. Now we can define transfer movement. We can define how they get paid. So we have at least a little bit of that. So that kind of mimics an NFL structure. But again, they're not employees. They're still students. There's still academic requirements. There's still the recruiting element that, no other, organization, the NFL doesn't recruit, right? It's a draft, right? And then it's free agency that's well defined. So we still need some pieces of that, but that's the part that might be the most frustrating for our coaches and even the athletes. The athletes want clarity, right? They need clarity. So we're getting there. We have a few pieces on the table. It's still a little bumpy. Where it's going to go in the next 10 years, no one can predict that. But I do know that some of these pieces have to come together where it's just a little more defined and a little tighter in terms of what the structure is.
So since you brought up, that revenue share, and then there's the traditional NIL, name, image, and likeness, and Ohio State has developed a third-party arm in conjunction with Learfield. How has all that been operating? I know that there's probably goals that people have and how they envision it working. Has that been as smooth and is it worked as efficiently as you had hoped?
Yeah, it really has. And again, it's early in the process. I mean, a lot of this is sort of startup operations, so we're still building a lot of these elements out. But every time our Learfield organization, it's called Ohio State Sports Properties, every time they sit down and talk to a sponsor, you have your primary sponsorship package, and then we will always build in an NIL component. And some sponsors will say, hey, we're not going to do that. Most of our sponsors here are diving into that. So there's going to be an NIL component in every sponsorship deal moving forward. And then it also allows us to go out and get, maybe somebody doesn't want a primary sponsorship agreement with Ohio State where they're on the video board, they're on the LED ribbon boards, they have a sign, and they only want to do athletes. That's great too. So now we have that component. So we have, based on all accounts, we have the biggest sort of system right now in the country. I got in trouble last year throwing out numbers, so we're not going to throw out numbers. But we know based on what we've submitted so far through the NIL clearinghouse system called NIL Go, which is College Sports Commission based. We know that we have a very robust program. Our athletes are thriving in it. The other thing about it too, Bobby, it allows us to promote all of our sports. Yeah. Obviously, again, football is going to lead the way. Men's and women's basketball are going to have high profile, but we have a lot of other athletes that have really good agreements with companies. May not get all the attention as everyone else, but it allows us to really promote our entire athletic program. So we feel really good about the system. It's continuing to build out the staffing. We're hiring, more staff members as well. The NIL Go clearinghouse is getting more definition around it. Deals are being cleared faster. So that part, we're excited about it. We're excited about the future. And it's, again, we want to have really kind of a for certain market where we know, hey, we've got just about this amount of money in our third-party NIL structure on top of the revenue share that allows us to just have a robust system. That's what it's going to take in this competitive landscape.
So you've been here, I mean, honestly, it seems like been here for a while, but it's actually a hot minute. Win a national championship. You have a lot of success in sports, other sports at Ohio State. For you right now, just thinking about it, like what is one of the things that you and even President Carter are talking to the board at Ohio State? You had football, you got two guys right now that are up for a Heisman, just coming off a national championship. You got the Buckeye Sports Group. You have some game day experiences that you guys have been doing, which have been fantastic. How has that been in conversations as to, hey, athletics is the front porch to the university and everybody helping everybody, not siloed for the brand that is the Ohio State University. How has that interaction been for you while you've been here for just a little while, Russ?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Anthony. And, I'm glad you brought up President Carter and our board of trustees, because in this environment in particular, and again, it kind of goes back to what the first question was, right? The bumpiness around college athletics. If you don't have alignment from your board to your president, to the AD, to the football coach, to really our entire athletic department with every coach, if you don't have alignment and there's not shared vision, it can get sideways pretty quick. And we've seen that across the country. And so the alignment piece is so critical on vision. So what we talk about, and we're very blessed that we have a president who really embraces athletics. He knows it's not the most important thing, but he also realizes it's the most visible, right? And with that comes a responsibility. So we're part of the university strategic plan, Education for Citizenship 2035. It's a 10-year roadmap. We're one of the 6 pillars. Athletic excellence is one of the 6 pillars. And then underneath that, there's really 2 tenets: best in class, student athlete /fan /customer experience. So best in class, and then leader in the evolving landscape of college athletics. We're going to anchor to those 2 points: best in class, and how do we have a leadership position. Doesn't mean we're always going to win every argument. It doesn't mean we're always going to cast the final vote, but Ohio State should be in a leadership role. It should be part of the national conversation, and then we should be best in class. And if you're best in class, that means you're winning championships. That means you're building buildings. You're funding the program at the right level. You're doing all the technical things that go with that. And then what I've really discovered here, guys, is that there really is no ceiling. We could probably wake up every day and just continue to do the same things we're doing, and we're going to have a great athletic department. We'll win championships. We'll have Heisman Trophy winners. We're unveiling a Jerry Lucas statue, one of the best basketball players of all time, right? We'll have those moments. However, if we lead and engage at a higher level, then people are going to look up and say, "Oh my God, I thought Ohio State was great before, but I can't believe they just did this." Whatever that might be. It might be building a new building. It might be, the Ohio Stadium has all these massive renovations over the next 5 to 7 years, which need to happen. It might be building a new ice hockey arena, which we're working on. Renovating the Woody Hayes Athletic Complex. Those are all the things that are next. But that's how I look at it, is the power of the brand, the power of the breadth of Ohio State, the fandom, right? Everybody's a Buckeye in this state. If you touch the state of Ohio in your lifetime, you're a Buckeye fan for life. So those are the kind of things that we need to capitalize on. So that's what gets me excited about talking to President Carter, our board, what the vision is, how we map this out, and how we engage at a high level. So, but I'm still the new guy, Anthony. I'm still learning. We'll carry that as long as they let me. But it's been really exciting to see the power in the potential still of this place.
It's tremendous. We're going to take a quick break, come back, talk a little about those in-game experiences, the future of Ohio State, the Big Ten leading the way, all coming up next in the Bobby Carpenter Show. FanDuel, it's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel, they have the live bets on everything from who will score next, the fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets to a same-game parlay. They call that an SGP for a shot at even a bigger payout. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join because FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets. Your first $5 bet wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 and older and present in Ohio or Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool and doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. with Athletic Director Wolf Endowed, Ross Bjork here, talking about this. And people were blown away, Ross, and I wasn't expecting it. I don't know how you guys kept it a secret. Brutus zip lining in, the parachutes and everything. And you mentioned Ohio State trying to be a leader in things, renovating the stadium, some of the new stuff that's going on, but also trying to maintain the tradition. There's a certain way things are done. And I think largely a lot of the in-game stuff has been overwhelmingly accepted and excited as far as the bell ringing and everything like that. How have you gauged that? Are there still more things you have in the bag? And how have you kind of just tried to strategically plan some of these new experiences for a game to make it feel familiar, but also exciting?
Yeah, well, first of all, just a credit goes to our staff. I mean, Caleb Clark, he's our associate AD for marketing and live events. He's done a tremendous job. He's led the charge. We basically gave him kind of a blank template, if you will, but anchoring to that tradition evolved, mentality, and just said, hey, look, the slate is clean to say, what can we do? And again, the goals were very simple. Home field advantage and home court advantage. You're going to see things in basketball too that will be new. Home field advantage. And then people walking away saying, man, I had fun and I made an impact on the game. And look, in the second half, like we needed the crowd on Saturday. Just use that as an example. So it feels like that piece of it, the no dead space in the game script, high energy all the time, impactful music all the time, presentations now taking place in the north end zone on the Buckeye Leaf, where we got a crystal football. We're miking the band up. Right, we're doing those sort of things. Brutus has a different entrance every game. I think people now want the zip line every game. Not sure we can pull that off every game, but that was epic, right? That was just a really cool moment. The victory bell, the victory bell should be not just after the game. That's a symbol that can mean a lot of things, and so we wanted the bell to be rung. The victors are entering the field of play, and then we're going to ring it afterwards. It also allows us to honor legacy people here at Ohio State. I mean, we've had Clark Kellogg and Michael Redd, right? So we're able to mix in other sports. Obviously, Urban, did it, on Saturday. Coach Cooper, that was really cool. And, of course, the legend Archie Griffin, right? So those allow us to kind of bring in some other traditional elements. So we'll judge it. We have surveys that we do really after every game. We'll do another end-of-season survey. We'll want to know what worked, what didn't work. Look, we talked about hang on Sloopy and that we were going to maybe move it around throughout the game and make it a better, maybe a feel type when we would play it. We've kept that between the third and fourth quarter. Now, I do believe we need to bring more energy when we do that song. But those are things that we kind of learned after the first game, so we're going to always learn. We're going to always evaluate, always assess. We'll get feedback from the fans. But I think if you just look at our atmospheres, no matter if it's Grambling or Texas or Penn State, people are having more fun and it's more engaging. So we'll use that energy to keep evaluating.
Yeah, I absolutely love the victory bell because, like you said, it means multiple things. And it's like the victory of a outstanding career, Urban getting inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, right? Kind of before, after. I love that element. Well, let's talk a little bit about, because, there is a thing about like, we're carrying Fox, and it's always the big noon, right? And you talked about the leadership aspect of Ohio State in and amongst the Big Ten and college football. What does that look like down the road for the TV deals and the rights as you think about this, not just for football, but for all sports and how that works at Ohio State?
Yeah, there's no question. Look, Ohio State, again, the brand, the TV viewership, I mean, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. We totally understand it. We take that with a great amount of responsibility. I think there's a lot of respect around the Big Ten presidents and chancellors table, the athletic director table, where there's a recognition, and that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. The numbers speak for themselves. So we get why Fox wants us at big noon. That's their anchor broadcast. So again, you have to embrace that piece of it and accept that. But at the same time, looking for more balance. That's what I've talked about. Do we have to be on big noon Saturday for 6 games in one season? Probably not. This year, it's a lot more balanced out. So that's really what we're seeking, while understanding that we can be, the flag bearer for the conference. In the future, here's what we have to pay attention to. So Fox has our TV rights until 2036, and all of this is well documented. So no inside baseball here, but 2036 for Fox. But the sub-license agreements for CBS and NBC, which Fox, controls, come up in 2030. So we have a window here to really understand the landscape, to understand value, to understand what platforms are emerging in the live sports. I mean, you're seeing Apple TV emerge, you're seeing Netflix emerge, you're seeing Amazon Prime emerge in terms of live sporting. So what do the platforms look like? Linear TV, I'm a YouTube TV subscriber. It was disruptive Saturday night trying to figure out, where am I going to watch, right? And so you have to pay attention to all of those things. The good thing is, Commissioner Petiti is well versed in the TV landscape. He led it on the TV side with CBS and ABC, Major League Baseball side, obviously leading it on the Big Ten side. So I think, just having inside knowledge to what's happening, having insight, understanding the landscape as we go through this discussion around, the Big Ten enterprise discussion, TV's at the forefront. Can't get into a lot of details on the financial pieces of that, but just understanding that the Big Ten should lead the way in commercial activity. That's why we're having these conversations, I think is really, really important. And Ohio State will have a seat at the table, throughout and making sure that we always do, what's best for us while understanding, the Big Ten is at the forefront. So a lot to it, Anthony, a lot to come over the next 4 to 6 years as really things evolve. And then we get into the 2030 era, which is really not that far away when we think about it. It'll come at us fast, but it's going to be an exciting time, I think, across the entire, spectrum of the Big Ten.
So as you mentioned those TV deals, that's where a lot of the media rights, the value is derived with these universities and the athletic departments. The private equity piece came up and, right before the season, obviously kind of dies down as we get in the thick of the playoff race and everybody's excited about that. But timelines for that stuff moving forward, how does that look? Is there an impact there for the average fan? What does it do for athletic departments?
Yeah, the main conversation is kind of what I alluded to earlier is we do believe that the Big Ten has an undervalued sort of commercial landscape in terms of primary sponsors through the Big Ten Conference, in terms of postseason, capitalizing on postseason competition and hospitality and all the things that go into just raising the bar from a revenue standpoint. And that revenue, if there's more revenue produced, that goes back to benefit, the member institutions. And then you look at the TV landscape coming. So that's the main premise around, the term Big Ten enterprise. The equity piece, the capital piece, very fluid. That conversation is still ongoing. Ohio State has not made any decisions. I think that's very clear that there's still a lot of pieces to analyze. Other programs, have been more public about their positioning. We have that conversation at the president level, the board of trustee level, to make sure that we're all in sync there. So fluid process, fluid conversation, but it's going to be an ongoing, analysis. It should not affect the everyday fan. It really shouldn't. But our job is to make sure that this is funded, and it's funded at the highest level. We have 36 sports. Football leads the way. We have to make sure football has those resources. So trying to be creative in this new landscape is really kind of what that whole process has been about.
All right, Ross, we really appreciate the time. One last one before we get you out of here. We talked about your meetings with Ryan. So we're looking at all the jobs that are open, LSU, Penn State, Arkansas, Auburn coming up, Florida, UCLA, Virginia Tech. I mean, there'll be more as we look forward. And, there's been guys who have re-signed their deals with Matt Rule, Kurt Signetti, which is probably good for keeping the Big Ten strong and those guys maintaining at their schools. How do you keep Ryan Day happy? What is the process of that, of making sure that there's no allure from there or the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, that's, that goes back to the relationship piece, and that's the constant dialogue, the constant interaction, the constant just relationship building, understanding, where, one, how are we supporting the program here at Ohio State? And again, never letting off the gas pedal in terms of supporting football at the highest level, making sure that, when there is staff turnover, we can hire the right folks like a Matt Patricia, right? And making sure that then we keep the guys that we want to keep, right, and have that continuity. Obviously, the NIL landscape plays into it from a roster building, retention, transfer portal, incoming class piece. It's just a constant dialogue. At the end of the day, I know Coach Day and his family, they love being Buckeyes. They've been here a long, long time now in this world. And so we want to keep that. Again, back to the stability around college football. Nothing beats continuity, especially when it's elite. And we have elite continuity with Coach Day at the helm. So we need to keep that as long as possible. We can never take that for granted. I hope what people are seeing with the turmoil around the country is that continuity with Coach Day is elite, and we got the right guy. So it's going to be just fluid. But our job, again, we extended his contract last year. Let's finish strong, like we know we're capable of this year. Let's have a great end of the regular season, go into the postseason, and just make sure we have all the resources that we need to have to compete at the highest level.
Thank you for your time, Ross. We appreciate it. It's one of the few places where within a calendar year, they could tell you to fire the guy and then make sure he doesn't leave all at the same time.
There you go. Let's finish strong, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks, Ross. Get
Appreciate it, Ross.
Wolf Endowed Athletic Director Ross Bjork doing a great job for us there, giving us a little insight, Schlegs, into what's going on at the athletic landscape there at Ohio State. We kept him for way too long. So really appreciate that. What to say about our friends at XSports? Let's export parents, athletes. Protect what matters most with XSport mouthguards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Protect both your teeth and your brain. They feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber. They're custom fit your own unique smile with 3D printing right there in your grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication, so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Export, protect what matters most. Go to exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. And more of the Bobby Carpenter Show coming up next. Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool and doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. It was an amazing game,
bro. That was good.
Let's just kind of dive on into what we saw. I mean, we can talk a little bit about Ross, obviously, and some of the things that he said. He touched a little bit on the game right there, but 38-14, Ohio State is the only team to not cover a spread, to cover every spread all season long. So that means good coaches win, great coaches cover. So they're winning and winning by the appropriate amount. And honestly, outside of that little window, Ryan Day always talks about winning the middle 8.
Yep.
Get the fumble before half. I know that wasn't something that was planned. Probably changes the game for maybe 20-7, possibly 24-7 to 17-14, which has a lot different feel. How did we kind of feel at that moment, and what were kind of your thoughts?
I still didn't feel bad, Bob. I mean, I was very surprised 17-14 at half with the way that we played offensively the entire time. You knew there was the toss sweep where they were gaining the edge. It was like, okay, I understand it's going to be a halftime adjustment. They'll get that buttoned up, no problem. But playing on a short field, holding them out, they gave up their 2 first touchdowns of the first half. I still felt fine. It was because they got the ball in the second half. And I was like, okay, statement. Let's see what happens. And then it does happen. And that's like, and I'm following on Twitter and I'm following everybody, and people are just crazy, man. I just like to let things play out, and it did play out. And we just got to see the vertical passing game, the threat that is Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, Max Clare, and then the running game when you wanted to wear them down at the end of the game. Took over. Bo Jackson had over 100 yards. So, yeah, the fumble right there, you're going to call that play. Was he probably his forward momentum stop? Yeah, but you still got to secure the football, game a short field. And there are mistakes, and that's what you like. You're 8-0, and yet you're still attacking the little things. And there were some little things that we could address on both sides of the football, but you come out with a 38-14 victory against the now think about it. You have now beaten the preseason ranked number 1 and number 2 team.
Yeah. I mean, so you've done what you
That
need.
goes back to throw some shade at the SEC people.
Well, you beat a team also in Illinois was ranked 9 at one point this year. I mean, you've got wins against teams that have talent. Now, sometimes talent doesn't always produce, but I'll tell you this: that against Ohio State, everybody knows this, and it's no different the case when you're at in Alabama or Michigan or wherever it might be. Texas, you're getting the best shot of your opponents, and so whatever the talent level they have, Schlegs, they're going to make sure that as long as they're executing, they're playing well. And the one thing I will say, like Penn State on third down, 8 of 15. Like that's pretty good. That's the one. It's the one area you look at. Like they felt like they converted a lot. Now most of that was in the first half. Second half, shut them down. I think they had less than 60 yards of total offense in the second half. And then you start looking.
First downs, Bob, in the second half, 3 first downs, and that was the drive that when they scored first, Bob. There were 2 3rd and 8 pluses.
Yeah,
there that extended that drive. And I think after that drive, they were like 3 of 5 or whatever. That's the thing. Get off the field on third down, right? Little things you want to work on.
Yeah, very, very impressive with that. 55 rushing yards they held him to. And Ohio State conversely on the other side, rushing it for 64. Now it helps when you have a big hit, with Bo Jackson ripping one off. I think one of the things, there were some huge holes, by the way, in the running game. Would you agree, Schlegs? Like as you watch that?
Like, yeah, 100%.
There's some big holes.
Some of it is what we talked about. What'd you say, Bob? Tell about Coach Locke. It's like on those big ones, there were some other ones that you have to run through contact that can make it even bigger.
Yeah, when it's blocked for 4, but Ryan has said it. We block it for 4. Ohio State will give you 4. You got to go get the rest. And that's on the running back to be able to either A, make a guy miss, or B, run through the contact. Isaiah West probably not as productive as maybe people would have hoped. And sometimes there was a guy in the backfield or two for him. But some explosive games. People's obviously got, some more carries. CJ got some. The fumble was the one concerning thing that you had. But like I said, you come out, you start the second half, bang, 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 go get another scoring drive. And you cut the head off the snake right there. You get a stop, then you go get another score. And then all of a sudden it's pretty much game, set, match for control of that game.
Yeah, Urban said it on the deal that, they've kind of faltered at the end of the games. They've had leads. They gave them up at Penn State. But huge statement drive, 2 minutes, 42 seconds, 5 plays, 75 yards, touchdown.
Buckeyes.
Buckeyes, that's what you wanted. And again, defensively, guys, they were relentless. Arvell Reese had another game. K-Mac had a game. Sonny played very well. KJ had a game, right? They did what they needed to do, and again they adjusted whatever that adjustment was at halftime, which we all know there's not a ton of them. It might be fits, it might be spacing, whatever, but they came out and they played elite. And this was the lowest they've held Penn State since 2005. So over the last 20 years, Bob, we know what
I knew you were going to bring that up. We'll get to that in a minute. I knew you were going to say that. I heard that stat thrown out there. We got to take a quick break here. Tell you about our friends over at Backer, bckr.com. Elite gear. Schlegs has got some now. It looks good. The thing is, Saturday, I was getting ready to wear some of it. And it was such a nice day. I didn't need it. It wasn't rainy, it wasn't windy, and it wasn't probably cold enough either. It's going to all change for you folks. It's November. Christmas time is here. That has all the functionality and features that you love. It looks great. It feels great as well. It's free shipping on everything. bckr.com. And if you use promo code all caps BOBBY at checkout, you get 10% off. How about that for you, our friends at that? Go check it out. bckr.com from our friends at Backer. Coming up, we got our headlines. We break down some more of that Penn State game on the Bobby Carpenter Show. Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show, Schlegs. And as you mentioned, come out after you give up the touchdown there, the fumble, 4 plays, Penn State goes and punches it in, end of half, and you're thinking, oh, poop on a stick is what you would always say.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you get the ball back, you know you're going to get it, and you have the 14-yard pass, And then the 57-yard pass to Carnell Tate, who it just seems like he gets by guys. Like, that's all he does. He just gets by guys all the time. See him streaking down there. If you're going to try to roll a safety and cheat him to JJ, like, it's over. And Penn State's coach came out, and these guys have coached this game for a long time. Carnell and JJ, they're both tall, they're athletic, they can run, they track the ball well. And this was his comments on them.
The nation of all things, lack of pass rush, lack of DBs covering. There's times we're in man, there's times we're in cover three. It was a point of emphasis. It was keys to victory. You cannot let them beyond you. Now, credit to those guys. They are the two best guys in the country. Just watching these guys live, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to the past Ohio State receivers, these two are better than all of them. And those guys are all good. So they put it on film, and they were outstanding today. We could not cover them.
These guys are all good, and they are. You got them watching Jackson Smith and Jigba, who my kids are watching the Seattle game. They're like, Dad, it says PFF number 1. I'm like, yeah, it's because they have the number 1 rated receiver in all of the NFL right now. And that's him saying these guys are better. I mean, as far as deep shots, being able to go downtown, Carnell Tate is just absolutely destroying people with what he's been able to do. He can do the intermediate stuff, and part of it is 20 of 23 strikes. I mean, he's putting the ball right on the money. I'm just saying.
Talked about how he goes deep on deep balls and his percentage right there, but even the ball with Carnell adjusted over kind of like his back shoulder when he caught that one. The one JJ had, he got past the guy. He had a stutter step. Like, it wasn't even a stutter step. It was just a little shorter stride in the bucket, right? Like, his accuracy is what is allowing these guys to do their job. And they all make contested, difficult catches, Bob. Like, that is why his completion percentage is high, because he's accurate, but you're also going to throw it accurately. That's going to be contested because you're going to play against other talented people, and they just seem to come down with it almost every single time. And then it's going for you when a guy's right there in the window, tips the ball, and then Jeremiah Smith goes up, one-hands it, and then just shrugs dudes off as he steps into the end zone. It's not like people are bringing him down. It's just boom. It's amazing. And Bennett Christian, BC or CB, I don't know.
It's BC. It's Bennett Christian or Christian, Bennett. Either way, Christian, Bennett. Put the counter.
Got a touchdown, baby.
Yeah, got his touchdown. I was worried he stepped out before he caught it, though. Like, if he would have been out of bounds and came back in, but thankfully he was not. Exciting for him. I got 2 emails this morning, Schlegs, about JJ Smith for Heisman. And then I got another one promoting Julian, I'm just saying, for Heisman. All the stuff that he has done, we could read it off all to you there, but it would take too long, how good he's been. And honestly, unless he melts down, he's going to be in New York. He became the odds-on favorite to win it. Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt losing to Texas. Now, Pavia played really well, and he came back. He's going to have some probably more 300, 350, 400-yard games. There's going to be opportunities. Hopefully the weather stays good. And then he's going to have the big show, the big final show, what will most likely be the Big Ten championship against a number 2 ranked Indiana. And so everybody will be watching that thing and will have a chance to get it done. By the way, best completion, on pace for best completion percentage in college football history. So it doesn't even make sense. He was 85% of the game. My dad goes, I don't know if I've ever seen a guy throw more touchdowns than incompletions. He goes, it doesn't even make sense.
And you're right, Bob, the stage has been set because what you have, Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, right? Away, home, away at the big house, and then a conference championship game. Stay consistent, but you're going to be able to make your case in those last 2 games of the season.
Absolutely, Schlegs. You'll be able to. Those are our headlines. Next, we got players of the game. Break that down for you in our tailgate talk here on the Bobby Carpenter Show. Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink garage beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, Schlegs, let's get to it. The players of the game, the POW. players of the week. All right. You want to lead this off?
No, there's just so many, Bob, right? There's so many. So you have offensively, and this is in order for you, Pat, right? So you have Carnell Tate, player of the game, right? I mean, he had unbelievable stats. 5 for 124, touchdown, long of 57. I think the next one was JJ. JJ had 6 of 123, 2 touchdowns. He scored a touchdown in every single game. I think he has 25 touchdowns. And then Julian Sand, 20 of 23 for 316, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns, 3 incompletions. One, that means your guys were catching the ball. And there was a great throw, like even to start that drive in the second half, Bob. And I've heard so many people talk about, like, hey, let's use the pass to set up the run. They did that, but why? But you also hit an RPO where you're hitting a guy on the seam. Running the football does matter. You have to continue it. But when they started that drive in the second half, what did they do? First play, boom, it was an out route to, I think, Will Kazmarek. Really good ball.
Yeah.
Boom. And then you ran, and then you hit a deep ball. Like, you have to do those things. Anyways, those are your players of the game offensively. Bob, hit the defense because they played fantastic. Those 14 points, second most they've given up this year. They're still like 6-something points a game.
It's crazy. I mean, you give them the ball. Kind of felt like our Penn State game against them. Schlegs, you fumble the ball and give it to them in the red zone, basically, and you got to hold against it. The fewest yards given up, Schlegs, since 2005. I know that you always like to point that out.
77 yards. I know. Terrible. One of my that in the Texas game, Bob. Like, you always remember the worst in that game. I mean, you remember it was the first wideout, guys, but we 3-and-outed them. They ran the kickoff. We 3-and-out and they kick a field goal. And it was like they got a fumble to the 3-yard line and they had a pick 6, I believe. And that was their game. And we got beat 17-10. But defensively, when you watch these guys, Bob, Arvell Reese was a player of the game. K-Mac was a player of the game. KJ was a player of the game. What has stood out to you, Bob, looking at it, right, defensively? And it's not like we knew that Grunkmeyer was going to come out and just throw the ball all over the place. And he made some good third down passes. What stood out to you from the defense?
Well, I mean, K-Mac, the fact that your nose tackle has 8 tackles is crazy. I mean, he's in there dominating inside. He's a physical force, and you know what they're doing, how they're playing. You know, the style that they play is so you can preserve guys like that, so you can keep him on the field as much as possible. Arvell Reese, you know, the sack that he had, like the 2.5 tackles for loss. I was watching this. I see him. I was actually in the suite with Ross. I'm like, go dip it, and I'm like, gosh, he's so fast of how he's able to turn the corner. Chops the hands, dips it, does a great job. 12 tackles for him, sack and 2.5 TFLs. Just been insanely productive. And even when he's not getting the production, he's driving the production to other guys because he's such a disruptive player there. And then Kenyatta Jackson's first multi-sack game of his career. So very excited for Kenyatta. I thought he got after it. 2.5 TFLs, 2 sacks, 4 total. And that was hopefully – that's the beginning of like a great run for Kenyatta, where it's like a Jack Sawyer style run, Schlegs, like he did last year, where he just started making plays, be able to get a great job. And then another linebacker involved in there, Riley Pettijohn, was able to be the special teams player of the week, which was great to see as a young linebacker out of Texas getting it done. And by the way, Pat threw in there, and as of note, it was awesome. I was watching that live. Jack Sawyer with his first interception in the NFL. So it was awesome. It was on a batted ball. He catches it.
He's right there.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, man? The secret to success is being ready when your opportunity comes. So it was there for him, Schlegs. He was able to get it done.
And there was a great thing I saw. I don't put it in there, but like where they are right now this year, JT and Jack versus Caden and KJ, Kenyatta Jackson. I think it was like 7 sacks to 10.5 sacks, more TFLs, right around the same amount of tackles. But if you think, like, that's the thing, guys, it's like you lost 2 guys to the NFL that are playing very well, highly productive dudes at the next level. And then you have 2 veteran guys that were in the wing waiting, seizing their opportunity like this. And you throw in a guy like Arvell. It's not where were they last year? So no, this is the right timing. They're making the most of their opportunity, and that's good to see.
Absolutely. And also a note, good to see Edric Houston getting a sack as well, getting him going again, which I hope will be good. Yeah, I think it was his best game. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Schlegs, you have 1 minute for your side nugget and parting thoughts. Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool and doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, Schlegs, let's get it.
Well, I mean, side nugget and parting thoughts here. I put this up, Pat. This is Will Smith. Guys, listen, I watched the World Series, this last World Series was really good. Now, granted, the Dodgers won. And I was kind of I was rooting for the Blue Jays. And Max Scherzer, who's like 41 years old and absolutely fat crazy, okay? Will Smith, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's it, guys. He won a championship 6 years ago.
Well, it's two different Will Smiths. So I just want to let you know about that. There's two dudes.
That's okay. I like it. But it doesn't matter. It's just those guys. How many Will Smiths out there?
It's great. All right.
That's dudes, one ring.
You know what? Thank you for summing it up like that, Schlegs. It'll give the visual that everybody need to see. Two dudes, one ring. Great to see that. Great for the show today. Awesome time. Special thanks to Ross Bjork for stopping on. We kept him too long. He probably better more meetings. But we'll catch you up here soon on the Bobby Carpenter Show. Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool and doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.